everyone and welcome to my channel Lily LJ English. Today I'd like to present 4 things I believe you should practice to improve your English. How often should you practice this? Ideally every single day, but since it's not always possible for all learners, I recommend 5 times a week. Let's start with the first one. Listening. Listening is fundamental when we learn a foreign language. Do you remember how you learned your mother tongue? Well, it's highly likely you don't, since you were a little baby, but at that time, listening was the only thing you were exposed to. Babies learn a language through listening. Can the same way be applied when we are adults? Of course it can. What should you listen to? I highly recommend listening to anything that is appealing to you. Ask yourself, what are my interests? The answer will give you the topic or topics you should start with. Or perhaps you've started to be interested in something new. So, listen to the new topic. A few years ago, I was interested in minimalism as a lifestyle. It was something completely new for me, and at that time, I watched plenty of videos on YouTube about minimalism. Not only did I learn how to declutter my stuff properly, but at the same time, I practiced listening a lot. So start with a topic that you are into. Later on, you can progress to different topics to broaden your vocabulary. How much should you listen to? Ideally, as much as you can. I thoroughly recommend setting a daily goal. For instance, you can start with 10 minutes per day for a week and then increase the length, let's say to 15 minutes and so on. For sure, if you already have enough time, you can start with 20 or 30 minutes. What's essential is to be realistic. Do not aim for something that is difficult to achieve in reality for you. An aim that is impossible to fulfill will discourage you from learning sooner or later. So, start with a small goal and then make it bigger. On suggestion number 2, vocabulary. Vocabulary is crucial when learning a foreign language. At school, we are often made to learn vocabulary lists and words in isolation. Learning words in isolation works at the very beginning of learning, but later it's often ineffective. By learning words in isolation, I mean this. So, as I said, it's fine for basic vocabulary, let's say the first 500 words. The more you progress in learning, the more often you should learn new words as part of collocations. What are collocations? A collocation is a combination of words which regularly occur together. Examples: heavy rain, make an impression. When you learn collocations, you learn English words much more effectively. It helps you to sound more like a native. And you will remember new words for much longer. Collocations should be taught from an early stage of language exposure, so start with them today. For looking up collocations, I highly recommend the Ausdieck dictionary. I'll leave the link below. Third one, pronunciation. Pronunciation goes hand in hand with vocabulary, and vice versa. Pronunciation is fundamental for both understanding others and being understood. Unfortunately, pronunciation as such is often neglected at school, but it's extremely important. You might know thousands of words, but if you mispronounce them, people will be confused. Needless to say, there are plenty of words in English with very similar pronunciations. If you mispronounce a word, you basically say another one with a different meaning. A typical example: cup, cap. How to practice pronunciation? Repeat after the audio clips you find in an online dictionary. You can use, for example, the Cambridge Online Dictionary. Look up a word, press the speaker icon, and repeat. Repeat several times until your pronunciation is the same as the speaker's. The more you practice, the better for you. Remember, you don't know a word perfectly well unless you know its pronunciation. The second way of practicing is to repeat after a person. When you listen to something, pause the listening and repeat the word or words you just heard. Okay, let's move on to the last thing. So, you already practice your listening, learn new collocations, and practice pronunciation. So now, it's time to speak. Speaking in English is one thing many people struggle with. If you are that person, you should practice speaking every day. I'll make a whole video about improving speaking. Here are just a few tips. based on your circumstances as well as your confidence, you should practice speaking with somebody. Besides an English teacher, it might be your friend, sibling, or schoolmate. If you don't have anyone, you can still practice speaking using the method of talking by yourself. I know it might sound odd, yet it's a highly effective method to gain confidence in speaking, improve your speaking, and broaden your active vocabulary. Alright, these are 4 things I believe you should practice each day when learning English. I'm not saying that these are the only ones. Of course not. I don't want to dismiss reading or grammar, but for many learners, listening, vocabulary, pronunciation, and speaking are areas they should focus on most of the time. If you found this video helpful, please consider subscribing. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye!